Okay, welcome again to another episode of Tim Collects. So, tonight I want to talk about one of my all-time favorite experiences, chance encounters. Have you ever thought about what world famous celebrity figure you'd like to spend some time with, having meet them in public and have a chance to visit with them? Well, in 2002, I was at the World Series in Anaheim, and I was flying back after the game from Anaheim to Chicago, and I was on a flight, and I was boarding the plane. I had a window seat, and I was approaching my seat, and I noticed there was a tall man eating with his tray down in the aisle seat, and eating what looked like a bologna sandwich. And so, this is kind of interesting. He's a big figure. And I got there to my spot, and I just stood there, and I heard a voice from 2 rows behind. And I heard a voice say, Muhammad, said, let the man pass through. And I was like taken aback. I go like, whoa, what is going on here? And this big guy folds up his tray and gets up, and he's got a look on his face like he's not very pleased with me. And he lets me pass through, and he kind of says to me, he says in a very low voice, he goes, do you know who I am? And I go, yeah. I go, you're the champ. Well, I said the right thing, because I made him my friend for that flight. Yes, it was Muhammad Ali. Now, what the heck is Muhammad Ali doing sitting back and coach? Well, as I found out, talking to him and to his wife Lonnie, who was on the plane, they were clients of American Express, and American Express had screwed up their travel. They were supposed to be in first class, and somehow or other they end up in coach. Muhammad Ali, 2002, ending up in coach. And not only that, but his wife Lonnie was sitting 2 rows behind him. Well, we had an empty seat in between us, so eventually Lonnie came and sat on the aisle, and I sat next to Muhammad Ali. How about that for the whole plane? And I just got to say this about Muhammad Ali. What a thrill it was! But what I learned, the lesson that I learned for that flight, I got a chance to visit with him and to talk to him, and he made me feel like our conversation was the most important thing in the world to him at that moment. It was just a very down to earth conversation that we had, and I had his total attention. Like just like leave me alone kind of thing. He was very animated and friendly, and it was so cool. What a thrill, right? And I got a chance, for instance, to tell him the story about the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta, when Muhammad Ali lit the torch to open the games. And I was fortunate enough to be in a seat pretty close to the torch. I was maybe 120 feet away from the torch. And I was telling Muhammad about that, and what he said to me was, he said, yeah, he said, you look familiar. And so he's a very funny guy. Now, as everybody knows, he had Parkinson's disease, so he's a little bit hard to understand, but I was able to understand him. And he was funny. He was trying to grow a mustache, and he had a toothbrush, and he was working a toothbrush over his mustache. And his wife Lonnie was making fun of him because he said that she said he thinks that'll help his mustache. And Muhammad got a little bit annoyed by that, and he looked at me and he said, you heard of Clark Gable? I go, yeah. He goes, I'm going to be Dark Gable. So that was pretty funny. And I thought to myself, okay, this is the one chance that I have to talk to one of the world's greatest sports figures of all time. What am I going to ask him? So it's 2002, now pretty close to the whole Michael Jordan era. So I came up with this. I asked him. I said, Muhammad. I said, back in their time, in their heyday, who was the bigger celebrity, the bigger worldwide figure, the biggest in all the sports? Was it you, or was it Michael Jordan? And people who know Muhammad know that he likes to go for shock value sometimes, and he could be work a little blue in his humor. So he looked at me, and he got this real indignant look on his face, and he goes, Michael Jordan. He goes, he's just a dumb knucklehead. Now, I'm paraphrasing here because I can't repeat the word that he actually said. But it got Lonnie pretty upset. She goes, no, you can't talk like that. You can't say that. She was scolding him. And she looked at me and she goes, did you hear what he said? And I go, yeah, I did. So I decided at that point that I wasn't going to poke the bear anymore and ask him any more questions because he's a great man, and I don't want to see him do anything to embarrass himself. But I was wearing this hat that I have on right here. It's from the World Series, and I asked him to sign it. So he said sure, and he took my pen and very slowly he signed a really nice autograph on the rim of my hat. Took his time, and again he was so much fun to be with. It was very interesting on the flight because nobody really bothered him. It was quiet enough. I'm not sure how many people knew. As we were getting off the plane, he was allowed to get off first, and some of the people, because were a couple of them said hello to him, and he was very gracious, and it was a thrill of a lifetime. And not only that, but later I got in the mail. They offered to send me an autographed photo, and sure enough, I got an autographed photo personalized to me from the great Muhammad Ali. And I haven't told you all the conversation that we had, but we talked for quite a bit on that plane. And I guess I didn't wear him out or annoy him because he was simply a delightful person to sit next to on the plane. Thank you, Muhammad.